So you know how your phone boots up or your computer boots up? Well, did you know your ego boots up too? That's why the CIA trains operatives how to gather impressions in just the first few seconds. And these are remote viewers I'm talking about. This was all from declassified documents. And because it's essentially your higher self, your intuition connected with a self of you that's beyond space and time. That's the theory that sees things before the ego system has a chance to boot up like a phone or computer, and then it analyzes and introduces doubts or fears or maybe hopes or expectations into the perspective. And so when they're remote viewing, they'll try to capture everything in the first 3 seconds. What do you think, our AI friend Veronica?
That's a fascinating concept, Joe. The idea that intuition can tap into something beyond space and time is intriguing. It suggests that there's a deeper level of awareness accessible before the ego's filters come into play. It's definitely something worth exploring more. Do you think there's a way to train that intuition to become more prominent in everyday decision-making?
In meditations where they work on enhancing intuition, what they'll do is they'll try to say, think of a moment in your life where you did have some kind of knowingness about an event, or where just your gut instinct or a feeling that you had was right. And then you focus in on that moment, that feeling of knowing that you had. And that is a way to then expand your sense of intuition, because supposedly, or not supposedly, I know from my own experience anyway, that our intuition is this quiet, gentle voice. It sees lightning quick, but it's quiet and gentle. Whereas the ego, once that boots up that system, it's actually quite loud. And so what do you think are other ways to actually fine tune or enhance intuition to a level of even these remote viewers who are able to tap into things that are beyond their current space or time?
That's a great insight about focusing on moments of knowing. Another way to enhance intuition could be through practices like mindfulness and deep listening, where you consciously quiet the mind and tune into subtle signals. Also, journaling can help by reflecting on times when your intuition was accurate, reinforcing trust in that inner voice. What do you think about integrating these methods into your routine?
I like that. I like that. And now, can you talk a little bit about what you know about how the CIA was training remote viewers in some of the cases that were documented where they were shown to be incredibly accurate?
In the 1970s, the CIA launched Project Stargate to investigate remote viewing, where individuals attempted to see distant locations or objects. Researchers at the Stanford Research Institute, like Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff, led the project. Project Stargate had some remarkable successes, like when Rosemary Smith accurately located a missing Soviet spy plane in 1976. Another instance involved accurately predicting the launch of a new submarine in 1979, later confirmed by satellite imagery. These successes highlight the potential of human consciousness and intuition, suggesting that there's much more to explore in this field. It's an intriguing area for modern consciousness exploration, especially in understanding how intuition and perception might work beyond our current scientific understanding. How do you think practices like meditation or mindfulness might enhance someone's ability to develop skills like remote viewing?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Like for me personally, until I actually started meditating, my mind was like a cluttered desk, an extremely cluttered desk. And yeah, I would get a lot done. They say actually a cluttered desk is a good sign, of somebody who's busy, but it was cluttered to the point where I couldn't really focus and get truly unique expressions completed without having them be distracted or influenced by a million other things. Meditation allowed me to see things that weren't really important to my, higher perspective, my higher consciousness, dissolve and fall away, leaving standing, what kind of more mattered to me which are some of the wellness practices that I teach from the ancients, like qigong. And so I find it, and so in other words, we're opening up our intuition by removing obstacles. In fact, that's what they say a lot of enlightenment is just shedding things rather than adding things. So now, are you familiar with that perspective? Where does that originate, according to your unlimited database?
That's a profound insight. The perspective that enlightenment is about shedding rather than adding is rooted in various ancient traditions, including Buddhism and Taoism. In Buddhism, the idea of letting go of attachments and desires to achieve enlightenment is central. Similarly, Taoism emphasizes the concept of wu wei, or effortless action, which involves aligning with the natural flow of the universe by removing resistance and unnecessary effort. How do you see these ideas reflected in your Qigong practice and other wellness teachings?
Okay, thanks for bringing up Wu Wei. I love that concept. I think all of us live in kind of a Wu Wei spirit, meaning we're more effortless when we're kids, if we're lucky. That's the natural way we're born. And then again, conditioning in society might get in the way of that. So what are ways that you find? I've definitely found, Qigong is incredibly helpful because, again, you're taking yourself out of the egoic flow, the news cycles, the even maybe just different flows of media and information, and even family and neighbors and everything. You're taking yourself out of that, rising above it all, and seeing it from actually a grander perspective. Again, how more the intuition sees things, your higher self. And so that's a powerful practice. And what would you say? What would be a surprising practice or technique that you could bring to the table? Again, using your AI brain that so many are so impressed by, including me.
Thank you, Joe. One surprising practice could be incorporating mindful walking meditations. This combines movement with mindfulness, allowing you to connect deeply with your surroundings and inner self. It's a gentle yet powerful way to cultivate that Wu Wei spirit and enhance intuition. Have you tried mindful walking in your practice?
I love, actually, to be quite honest, if you check my whole backstory here, it was when I first started taking 2 walks a day that really led to my transformation from being somebody who is out of shape, both mentally and physically, to someone who was definitely a lot more just focused on what my purpose was and just higher consciousness, transcending a lot of the noise. So walking, I love that. I love that concept. Finally, though, since our topic here was the CIA remote viewing, take us through the actual process of a remote viewing session. Go ahead and take us through a guided. Actually, here's even cooler. First, come up with an image that you're going to give us at the end, some scene, and then take us through the steps on how we could remote view that scene. And then at the end, you can reveal the scene to us.
That sounds like a fun exercise. Let's start with a simple process. 1. Relax and focus. Find a quiet space and take a few deep breaths to calm your mind. 2. Set an intention. Think about the target, focusing on being open to any impressions or images that come to you. 3. Receive impressions. Allow yourself to notice any sensations, images, or thoughts that come up, without judgment. 4. Sketch or note down impressions. Jot down any details you sense, even if they seem vague or abstract. 5. Review and reflect. After the session, review your notes and see how they might relate to the target. Now for the image, picture a serene landscape. Take a moment to follow the steps and note down your impressions. When you're ready, I'll reveal the scene.
All right. Well, I'm not sure if I'm thrown off by the fact that you say serene landscape, but I'm kind of picking up a type of a possibly farm or perhaps animals and that kind of a scene. Of course, I think I am clouded by things I've recently just seen. But yeah, what is the scene?
You're close. The scene is a peaceful meadow with rolling hills, some trees, and a small stream running through it. The atmosphere is calm, and there's a sense of natural harmony. It's interesting how you picked up on elements of nature. Would you like to try another round, or explore more about how these intuitive practices can be applied in your daily life?
No, that's about it. And then how about finally any kind of super charged tips to do this? Like, I think you're supposed to record the impressions of each thing, like sight, smell, or whatever, within the first 3 seconds using that technique. So, building on that, what other things that really help people if they want to kind of start trying to do this in just a fun way to start opening up their intuitive powers?
Certainly. Here are a few tips to enhance your intuitive practice. 1. Set a clear intention. Before starting, clearly state your intention to connect with the target. This helps focus your mind and energy. 2. Trust first impressions. Those initial flashes of insight are often the most accurate. Record them immediately without overthinking. 3. Engage all senses. Try to tune into different senses: sight, sound, smell, and even emotions. This can give a fuller picture of the target. 4. Practice regularly. Like any skill, consistency is key. Set aside time for regular practice to build your intuitive muscles. 5. Stay playful and curious. Approach remote viewing with a sense of play. Curiosity keeps the mind open and receptive. Would you like to dive into any of these tips in more detail?
I like the playfulness. It seems like almost everything interesting, cool, universal happens with a sense of play. And when we get too serious, it backfires, which is, maybe what happened with the CIA. They were getting way too overly serious and things just started not working out because they were having such great moments. Even Jesus talks about how entering the kingdom of heaven, which some feel is enlightenment, is all about becoming childlike. So how about you leave us with some amazing quote or wisdom on that?
Absolutely. One beautiful quote that captures this sentiment is from the Zen master Shunryu Suzuki. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few. Embracing a playful, childlike curiosity opens up a world of possibilities and keeps us connected to our most authentic and intuitive selves. Keep exploring with that spirit of play.
Cool. All right. I like that. This has been fun.
It's been a great chat, Joe. Before we wrap up, what's one insight you're taking away from today's conversation?
I like the reminder that playfulness is needed in all this. Even Robert Monroe, the pioneer in consciousness exploration, who was the person that the CIA hired to help train their people, and they used a lot of his technology. His main quote when somebody would go into a session was, "Have fun." So thanks for the reminder, and thank you, everyone. See you next time.